Hey guys, Pinobi here, bringing you another Pokemon Narrated Wi-Fi battle. Just want to explain real fast. Well, first of all, thank you to all my new subscribers. Hey, how you doing? I'm Scott, Pinobi, the acoustic kind, whatever. Sorry I haven't been bringing videos this past week or so. Been really busy, girlfriend, parents, school. My sister's actually pregnant, having an emergency C-section as we speak, as I speak, as you maybe listen, depending on when I post this. Anywho, so that's been keeping me busy. Also, some people have been messaging me about Yu-Gi-Oh! Content, which is nice to know that people enjoy a multitude of my content. So yeah, I have been at my locals, getting some games done, getting some battles recorded. I've actually recorded duels before, and had problems in the production phase where I haven't been able to get them to a level that I think you guys would even want to watch them. So that's kind of why I haven't posted that kind of content before, but I am working on that and all that kind of fun stuff. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the battle. Hope you guys enjoy. And one question you guys have been asking me is, Pinobi, why don't you play more 5th gen? Why not more black and white? I mean, I obviously have it. I posted a ROM video. I have posted a few battles before. Well, I've made a little clip to answer your question, so let's take a look. Alright, that little clip is about how exciting I find Pokemon Black and White generally. But anyway, yeah. This is going to be a Black and White battle with Chuckkles22. He just came back from a little brief retirement or whatever, a little intermission where he didn't really feel like playing and uploading. So let's just go ahead and get into this. I'm going to be using my 4th gen mixed tier team. He's going to be leading with a Politoed. I'm leaving my Sandcastle. I know I'm slower, so I'm going to be able to get the sand up. We both did look at each other's team. I'm going to switch into my Sandersonia, predict the water move. And yeah, obviously going to take that incredibly well. And even though I am going to be hit by the sand, I definitely want to have it up. Just going to go ahead and go for the Toxic. He's going to go ahead and go for the Toxic as well. Doesn't really bother me, 1, because Melodic has the Marvel Scale ability, 2, because I have a Cleric on this team, so not really a big deal there. I am just going to go ahead and go for a Confuse Ray, predicting a switch, because going for Confuse Ray is going to pretty much give me switch advantage, because it means now I can switch into a counter, and there's a 50% chance he will be able to do absolutely nothing about it, and he'll have to make a blind switch if he opts to switch out of the confusion, which is good for me. So I believe I go ahead and switch into my fucking bananas here. The reason I go into my fucking bananas is because with the confusion, there's a very good chance that I'm going to be able to go ahead and set up a substitute, also considering the fact that Sand Veil hacks could be permanent here. I noticed that his Aerofoon doesn't have the leftovers, which is really surprising to me because they almost always have leftovers, so they can abuse Leech Seed and Substitute, especially considering Aerofoon's ability. I'm going to predict the switch to Politoed and just Baton Pass into my Hippowdon, reason being because I want to get the sand back up. So that was a nice prediction on my part. The other reason that I did that is because I know I have a sub up, which means I don't have to be afraid of the boiling water, and it's going to give me a chance to set up my Stealth Rocks. And I definitely want to have the Stealth Rocks up early. I don't really want to set up too early in the game, so that substitute basically just gave me strategical advantage, not really a setup like with Scizor or Heatran or anything like that. So I am just going to go ahead and switch now into my Marigold, because I'm not really afraid of Politoed, and I'm assuming he's a defensive Politoed, but maybe we'll see. So he's going to go for the Leech Seed. I'm just going to go for an S-Toss. And his Leech Seed, unfortunately for him, is going to miss. The reason I just went for the S-Toss is because I know that he doesn't have the leftovers, so even if he lands the Leech Seed, I don't think he's going to gain more than 100 recovery, especially considering the freaking sand. So he is going to nail me with a Psychic, and I went for another S-Toss. That was really a bad play on my part. I should have just gone for the Milk Drink, thinking that the sand would kill him off. But I went for the Seismic Toss just in case he wanted to, like, I don't know, switch and save it for later, or I don't know. I really should have healed up. So yeah, I see that boiling water in the rain, of course, is going to do a lot of damage to my Marigold, so I'm going to have to switch out and go back into my Sandersonia. Yeah, I wasn't really considering the boost from the rain there, because that did a good deal of damage, and I'm lucky I didn't get burned, even though that is a Cleric. So I am just going to go for, I think, a Whirlpool here, or maybe I went for another Confuse Ray. That would have been a smarter play. Yeah, I do go for the Confuse Ray once again, using the same strategic state of mind of it pretty much gives me a sort of switch advantage in a way, if that's how you want to think of it, because it does mean that I can switch into whatever and he has a 50% chance of hitting. But I am just going to go for a recover here because I want my Sandersonia at full health, and I see that his, whatever you call that thing, is also a cleric, which makes sense. It normally plays the role of a Chansey, a Clefable, a Wigglytuff, that kind of thing. It's the 5th gen version of that. So I know he has a 50% chance of not getting anything off. Pretty sure he wants to go for the Wish. I'm just going to go into my Marigold because I really need to get this thing back healed. And I went for Toxic, predicting a switch, which is pretty nice for me because it means he can't stay in with his Politoed. I noticed that his Boiling Water last time did do less than a milk drink's worth, so I'm going to hope I don't get the burn. Also see if he wants to maybe predict a switch and double switch, predicting my switch to Melodic. Not really sure what he wanted to do there, so I'm lucky I didn't get burned, and that worked out pretty well for me because I got an extra turn of Toxic Poison and healed a little bit of my HP. So I'm going to switch back into Melodic. I think I go for a Whirlpool here. We'll have to see. No, I do go for the Confuse Ray. I haven't actually got to show it off too much in my battles with this Melodic, but it does carry Whirlpool to try to trap things in, so I can Toxic and Confuse Ray, and they won't be able to do too much about it. But going for the Confuse Ray first is always the smart play. I think I go for the Whirlpool now, even though the switch was pretty obvious. So that was perhaps a bit of a blunder on my part, but hey, it gets stabbed and it's in the rain, so it does like a little bit of damage. And it is going to trap this thing in here, which is actually good for me because now that it's trapped, I can hit it with a Confuse Ray. I know I outspeed from our previous engagement. Oh, I don't hit it with a Confuse Ray? I don't even know. I'm so confused. I go to my Gazaris so I can get up the Swords Dance. And I did look at his team. We both did take a look at each other's team before the battle. In my previous Black and White battles, I haven't done that. But I am going to be able to predict, not on this turn. I'm going to go for a Superpower, hoping he'll get greedy or hoping he'll switch into Politoed. But I am going to predict his switch into Burungeru and just go for a Bullet Punch after he scouts my Superpower. And even with the resist, a +2 Bullet Punch is going to do a respectable chunk, especially considering the Stealth Rock's damage. So I am going to just switch into my Sandersonia here because I know that I can deal with this thing pretty well. I think we both take this opportunity to recover up. And I'm not too... well, actually, I am kind of threatened by his Burungeru when the sand is not up, because it's going to be really hard to stall that thing out because it has Recover. And Bulky Waters in general are pretty good against this team because, as you can see, my team does have a bit of a weakness to special attack Waters moves, and that's why Sandersonia is here. So I need to make sure not to give it too much play against other pokes. I'm going to go ahead and switch out to my Heatran here because I know that thing has no offensive capabilities to hurt me, but he does carry a Rhydon on his team. I just went for the substitute. I could go for Toxic, but I know that he has the Cleric, so what's the point, really? I am just going to go for a Magma Storm so I can get a little bit of damage on him. It's good for me that the sand is actually not up. I think the sand is not up. Because, yeah, it would give him more special defense, so he would be able to take my Magma Storm even better. So I am just going to go for the Protect, which is nice for me. I actually don't even see the end of the turn end of turn weather, but yeah, I'm going to switch into my Sandcastle to get my sand back up and to take the Earthquake pretty freaking well. Going to predict his switch, not necessarily to Burungeru, but just in general, and go for the Roar. Unfortunately, it is going to bring him into his Politoed where the Drizzle will activate, which was a very unfortunate Roar for me. He's going to go for Endeavor while I go for Earthquake. That actually worked out pretty well for me, and I'm going to be able to switch now into my Marigold. I was pretty lucky to predict him to predict some sort of switch and not go for Boiling Water, even though I haven't scouted the rest of his move pool. So that worked out pretty well for me, and it's lucky for me that it did, because it means that his Weather Inducer is now gone while mine is still intact, which is going to give me the weather advantage. So yeah, he's going to go for a Will-O-Wisp. Unfortunately for him, it is going to miss, and I'm just going to go ahead and nail him with a Toxic. One of the main reasons I'm going for status moves, even knowing he has the Heal Beller, is because, one, I can't, S-Toss Burungeru. It's completely pointless. And because it's going to force him to go into his Heal Beller, and his Heal Beller has no offensive capabilities, which is going to give my team a very great chance to set up. So I'm going to go into Sandersonia now because his thing is toxic. He goes for an Ice Beam, although my Marigold has the Thick Fat ability, so that wouldn't have done jack diddly balls. Although if he had gotten Freeze Hacks on my Cleric, that could have been a problem. Let's see what I go for here. I am just going to go for the Whirlpool, hoping to trap his OC chips or whatever. I think my plan there was to go for the Whirlpool, predicting him to go... I thought he would predict me to go for the Confuse Ray first, and he would take it with OCS chips and then switch out. So that's why I tried to trap him in with the Whirlpool so I could stall him to death. So I am just taking on his dude here. Went for the Whirlpool, get some damage. Well, I already had one for the Whirlpool. I went for the Confuse Ray to give it a lower chance of being able to do anything. So I'm going to go into my Sandcastle to increase its longevity. And I'm going to predict a switch here, I think, and go for another Roar. Yeah, which was a nice play on my part. And it's really good that he got dragged back into this thing, because this thing cannot do anything to me, which means that I am going to be able to just go ahead and get a Slack off. He's going to go for a Toxic, which is not a big deal to me because I do carry the Lumberry, but I also have a Cleric, and I am just going to go for the Slack off. So, pretty good for me. Not sure if he was predicting me to have the Lumberry and just wanted to burn it, considering that he didn't see lefties and I am a lead, or maybe he was predicting me to have something else. I'm just going to go ahead and go into my Scizor because I know that he can't do anything to me. I'm going to predict his switch into OCF chips and just go for the Bullet Punch, hoping that in conjunction with the Toxic and with the Sandstorm, it would be able to take him out. But you'll see that the wish comes true before Toxic, so the Toxic wouldn't have taken him out anyway. So yeah, a nice try by me, but he had a little bit too much health for that, so not going to work out. I am just going to go back into my Sandersonia, however, to take the Will-O-Wisp, because Will-O-Wisp is not as damaging as Toxic, so I know he's going to have to switch before me. So I'm just going to go for the Whirlpool to trap him in, hoping he will go for the Recover, because he needs to increase the longevity of his Burungeru, because it's his main counter to my Scizor. So that worked out incredibly well for me, and this part is actually very stallish. I should have actually sped this up a little more. Here, I'll actually speed it up right now. Hold on. Alright, and we are back. Yeah, I'm speeding this part up because basically I trapped him in with the Whirlpool, and I'm just stalling him out with Confuse Ray and nailing him with Whirlpools, recovering off the damage I take, knowing that Toxic and Sandstorm and Confuse Hacks will stack up on him. Unfortunately for me, he doesn't hit himself too much with Confuse Hacks, but I'm going to switch out here into my Gazaris, because I'm thinking that he'll hopefully hit himself with Confusion, because, yeah, that would have been very helpful. And plus I know that the Toxic is at a stage where it'll get him down to where if I hit him with a Bullet Punch, Toxic and Sandstorm should be able to take him out. Unfortunately, he's not going to hit himself with Confusion, and he is going to just nail me with a Will-O-Wisp, which is going to cripple my Scizor. But like we've discussed, I do carry a Heal Beller, so I wasn't too worried about that. However, he does choose this time to bring in his Ditto, which I think was very smart. I totally had not considered the threat of Ditto at that stage. I do switch out to my fucking Bananas, though, knowing that I can take a Superpower, which I am predicting, and I am going to just be able to set up a Substitute. And unfortunately for him, his Ditto was actually Scarfed, and he didn't realize that. So that's going to be good game. Hope everyone enjoyed. Sorry if that battle was a little stallish. Be on the lookout for more content from me. Opponent's channel link in the description. Have a nice day, everyone. Deuces.